Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Who Cares Anyway podcast. It's Friday night. We are live, and my God, is it going to be a fun one. I can tell you that right now. To be honest, I don't want to do any stupid, tangential rants, whatever. I'm just going to introduce everyone on the panel, and we're going to hop right into it. Kees, Cornelisse, my usual co-host. Dude, what's up? How's your week? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm back, and I'm not sick anymore. I was sick this week. I felt pretty terrible a couple of days ago, but I feel okay now. Looking forward to the show, stuff that we're going to do. So, yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Nico Rigoli, how's it going, man? How's your week?
It's Friday, gonna get down.
Shut your whole mouth.
Ha! Yes. No, that about sums it up, I think. Sadly, I don't have that sound clip pulled up.
You suck.
Well, to be fair, I'm also a little mad at someone who likes to play that sound clip on Fridays because somebody's making sure I'm not getting on a certain show that we're going to be talking about for a while tonight. But that's all right because, ladies and gentlemen, this is a first. This is a first. For the first time, you guys will ever, if you're a fan of Collider Live, you need to be tuning into this show tonight because one night only, we have the two royalty of songwriters. We have the Thrawn2k5 and David B in the house. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here tonight. Welcome to the show. And how are you guys doing?
Oh, doing fantastic, man. How you doing?
Doing great. And David, yourself.
I'm nervous. No, I'm doing good, man. Thank you guys so much for inviting us. First time and only time though. You're already uninviting us for another one. Dang.
Wow.
Well, see, here's the difference though, is that I'm a little worried that if tonight goes as great as I think it's going to go, the next time you see us all together, it might be like live on stage or something. You never know.
Ooh.
But
That's true.
Those are big words said,
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, well, hey, let's be fair here. If Chris Clark could pull off, put together a concert the night before a live Schmodown, who's to say I couldn't do the same? But well, first off, it's a little late for doing that for Chicago, but who knows? Maybe some towards the end of the year. You never know. Still working on
Come
the novel.
to New York in August. Come to New York in August.
Well, we'll see. We'll see, Nico. We'll see, Nico. But
We'll see. We'll see how this show goes first.
Absolutely.
I may hate all of you up by the end of it. You never know, man.
You know what?
I hate you already.
I was about to say, to be fair, I wouldn't blame you on that regard.
No. We got to talk a little bit before the show started, a little bit behind the scenes for the audience, and I could tell it's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a fun time, a fun show. So I'm excited.
Absolutely, and well, first off, I'm super glad that you guys were both able to come on the show because this actually does mean a lot. Because I don't really get to hang out with a lot of music people on this show because, for better or for worse, this is kind of a movie focused podcast. Because to be honest, I'm not as caught up in modern music as I probably should be. But I'm glad that I at least have people who, I can still talk to about music, whether it's Nico or Ryan or now you guys here tonight. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, guaranteed.
For sure, man.
Awesome.
If you're looking for anything new, we'll talk after the show. I got some recommendations depending on your tastes.
Okay, awesome. And I was going to say, I probably have the most eclectic taste out of anybody that I know.
Oh,
so
Then we're gonna get along just fine because I listen to a little bit.
Does eclectic mean pretentious?
Hey, between the buried and me isn't that pretentious. Actually, it kind of is. But...
Yeah, right?
No, it's not. It's the greatest prog band in all of modern metal. Fight me.
Actually, I
might have to.
I was going to say, okay, that might be some fun time for after the show.
Oh, all right.
I'll
fight you on that. The second best prog band is Periphery. Fight me on that too.
Oh, dude, I'm trying to go see him the week after.
Actually, you know what? No. I'll fight you on that. Animals as Leaders. They're the second best.
Ooh.
But I've seen them fuck up live.
What the fuck is happening?
I'm kind of lost myself.
I've seen them twice, and I agree they can't really do all that stuff live perfectly. But I mean, Tosin Abasi is a pretty good writer, though, and I
dude's
can't
amazing.
play
He's
any
amazing.
of
Dude's great.
Dude is sick, dude.
And to be fair, yes, I actually have had the pleasure of seeing Periphery live, and that was one of the best shows I ever saw. Even though it wasn't seeing Lamb of God in the middle of a thunderstorm outside with 10,000 people doing the Wall of Death at each other. But that's
metal. That's metal as fuck.
Sounds kind of wet to me.
Heyo. Actually,
sounds moist.
Well, to be fair, I was there with a buddy of mine, and he did get laid that night. So you know what? To be fair, it was pretty wet. But
hey, that's epic. No, hey, that could be the best show ever. Then that's fine.
Oh my god.
There you go.
All
Question.
right.
Question. Was it during the Wall of Death that you got laid, or?
Well, to be fair, it wasn't me. It was, and I hope it wasn't during the Wall of Death he got laid. Otherwise, that would poor son of a bitch would have gotten trampled on. But okay.
There's a joke in there about actually helping you with the thrusting, but I don't know where it is.
Somewhere in there. But I'm looking at the chat right now, and I'm seeing Star Drew. Always great to see you, man. How you doing? Brian Nussbaum. Always great to see you. But yeah, guys, let's start to break away from the nonsense, because sadly we are not Collider Live. We are not half as talented in regards to nonsense as they are. But
no, we're twice as talented.
Oh God. But yes, so we are going to start on some movie news, and starting off with, actually, in my opinion, probably the second biggest trailer to drop this week, even though it was my personal favorite trailer of the week to drop, and I think, Case, you'll agree with me. Talk to me about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh my God. Look, anyone who has seen a Tarantino movie and loved it, because I know you love that movie, because Tarantino is just one of the best directors out there. You know why this movie is going to be great. Because Tarantino, like, he has that name about him, like a Christopher Nolan, like a David Fincher, like hopefully soon a Denis Villeneuve. You have these people who can just release a movie with their name attached to it, and you're like, I want to watch this. It's going to be amazing, regardless of what it is. And we finally saw the trailer, because we have been waiting. We've been just like anticipating this movie for a while now. We knew that DiCaprio and Brad Pitt were attached to the project. Now we have a name, we have a poster, we have a trailer, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and it just looks so good. It looks very Tarantino-like. I still don't know a whole lot about the plot, but then again, it's only the first trailer, so of course. But what I know is that Tarantino is directing Brad Pitt and DiCaprio really well. And there was just one joke that cracked me up so much when they were talking about the fighting and like, oh, you may die. Okay. And then they're just going to fight. And it was just funny. I don't exactly remember how it went, but it was just a funny moment. And I was like, yeah, this is Tarantino. I like it. I'm looking forward to this movie. When is this movie coming out?
Oh crap.
Oh, ask me about movie release dates.
Okay, if it didn't come out yesterday, it comes out too late.
Fair enough. Gentlemen, did you guys get a chance to check out the trailer for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood this week, or?
So I did not see it, and I'm still wondering if I'm going to see the trailer. Like, I feel like because I haven't seen a Tarantino movie that I didn't like. So I have a feeling that when I do see this movie, I'm going to enjoy it. It's just a matter of like, do I want to come in blind, or do I want something, or do I want like a little sample of what I'm going to see in the theater? And I'm not entirely sure yet. I might see the trailer right after we finish this podcast or when we go to break. But as of right now, I have not seen it.
I have seen the trailer, and I'm personally very excited. I love Tarantino. He's one of the few directors/writers that I feel can do absolutely no wrong, in my opinion. I loved Hateful Eight, Django Unchained, Inglourious Bastards, Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. I mean, it's like Pulp Fiction. It's like he said, he's like on that rare air of directors that the minute you hear like he's anything announced, right, it could just be random movie about a guy making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You're like, I'm gonna go watch that film, because he's that kind of director.
He probably has a script like that, by the way.
He probably does, right?
And you know for a
Yeah.
fact it would look great. Because
It would be
it'd be shot
amazing.
like 20 different ways. And we'd see it
Yeah.
from like 20 different points of view, and it'd be great.
Yeah, so I'm very excited. I don't know much. I mean, I saw the trailer, and even by seeing the trailer, I'm still not quite sure what the story is about. But you got Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, you got Margot Robbie, who I think is another absolutely brilliant actor recently as well. And I love the ending of that trailer, though, with the little girl coming up to Leonardo. That was the best acting I've ever seen. Just like the way he sells it, too. It's such a cheesy like line to end the trailer on, but he's just so convincing, like, oh, it really hit him. I'm excited for it. I know it's gonna be bonkers, it's gonna be bananas, it's gonna be hilarious, it's gonna be I'm excited. I'm already but I was already excited. So
Absolutely. And I saw real fast before I throw it to Thrawn that Brian Nussbaum brought up that it comes out a week after The Lion King. So just to answer your question, Case, there we go.
Yeah. Okay, so that's my most anticipated movie of that month.
Oh, ouch.
there you go.
But fair point. Thrawn, what were your thoughts on the trailer?
Oh, actually, it seemed kind of just like a Tarantino flick, and I don't know how to explain this proper, but it feels like most of his movies there's like this familiarity about each of them, and so watching the trailer was just like, oh, okay, there's going to be a whole bunch of those moments like there are in a bunch of his other films where you're just like, oh, this is fun, this is cool. I'm not the biggest fan of his, but at the same time, I believe that's Nico over there saying, I haven't seen a Tarantino flick I haven't liked. I haven't seen them all, but I've seen quite a few of them. So I'm pretty stoked. I think it'll be pretty fun.
Absolutely. And yeah, big shot, guys. It is in my top 5 most anticipated this year. Because,
Yes.
Reservoir Dogs is in my top 10 films of all time. I have adored pretty much every single film he's ever made. And, yeah, as much as, kind of like Case, I'm not the biggest Leonardo DiCaprio fan.
No.
But when he gives a great performance, I will never deny the great performance that he gives. And here, this looks
Blood
like
Diamond.
Blood Diamond, or, in my opinion, Catch Me If You Can.
Haven't seen it yet.
Wolf of Wall Street.
No.
It's a great film.
No.
Great film.
He's not that good in it. He
Oh
didn't
my
deserve the
God.
Oscar. He didn't
Oh my
deserve the
God.
nomination. But that's
All
me.
right, all right,
That's
real
all right,
quick,
that's all
tangent. All right, fine.
Yo,
I
hit me.
agree. I agree maybe with that, but you can't deny it's one of his better roles. Like, it's up there for
Yeah.
sure.
It's fine.
Oh, and let's be fair here. It's way better than Titanic.
Yes.
No, Titanic is actually good. Shut
Oh,
up.
Case, what do we say about your mic? Check your input there, my friend, please. Thank you. Yes.
Never-
Oh,
Check
my
yourself
God.
before you wreck yourself, man.
Yes.
My apologies for the. my apologies for the.
I apologize too.
You know what, Stardew? Okay, Quick and the Dead, he's good in, but he's outshined by everyone else in that film. But let's move on to something we can all agree we're looking forward to. We all like Christopher Nolan in some capacity. Either we like the Dark Knight trilogy, or for some of us, we like Inception or Dunkirk, or
The Prestige.
maybe something like Prestige.
The Prestige or
Memento.
Memento.
There's at least something about Christopher Nolan films that we love, even if Interstellar was a complete top pile of trash. But
No, Interstellar was good. Shut up.
oh man, you and I just want to disagree all night tonight, don't we?
Interstellar
Why
was
not?
good. I liked it. No, Interstellar was good.
It is a good movie.
film.
It's a well-made movie.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree with that. Yeah.
Well, either way, we're now finally getting we're getting some more details on his next follow-up to Dunkirk, which I just realized the other day. Holy crap, that thing made almost $500 million.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, because of the Christopher Nolan name.
Yeah, and
Yep.
that's true, because Christopher Nolan is now a movie star unto himself. Now, we all,
Yeah, with one Best Director knob.
which, please, Hollywood, can we fix that in the future? Just give him a couple of freebies just to make up for lost time. I would really appreciate
Especially
that.
because he got the one for the one he probably didn't deserve it for.
Yeah, in our professional opinion. Well,
Yeah.
or lack thereof professional opinion, but but so his next film, which we have no title for, and we all we know is that it's supposed to be like another action blockbuster, so something in the vein of Inception, where there's probably a high concept to it, and it's probably going to look stunning. Because say what you will about some of the exact events of Inception, it looked phenomenal, and just like Inception, so far the star-studded lineup that's already starting to make up the lead cast, I'm down. I'm super down. John David Washington, already confirmed to be playing the lead, who, of course, appeared last year in Black Klansman. Also, where the hell was his Oscar nom?
Where was his Oscar nom? Yeah.
But what are you going to do? And then also he'll be joined by Elizabeth Debicki, who, granted, she's done a little bit more minor stuff, but I think a lot of her work that I've seen is really good. And this is what I'm excited for. Robert Pattinson. Finally, let's get this guy as far away from the Twilight bullshit that we can and give him something really meaty to sink his teeth into, because he's a phenomenal actor, in my opinion. David B and Thrawn, do you guys have any thoughts you'd like to give on this casting so far for Nolan's next film?
Well, I've personally never seen Robert Pattinson in anything outside of Twilight.
Harry Potter.
Oh, you know what? That's true. Yeah, Goblet of Fire, right? Yeah. But even then, it's such a small role that I never could really get what he was as an actor, if that makes sense. So
that's fair. Just
the fact that Christopher Nolan sees something in him that he's going to use in his film, that makes me hopeful that it's going to be a great performance in some aspect. Because did you guys listen to the Jay White conversation he had with Collider?
Yes.
Just the way he described the way Christopher Nolan is as a director, where he kind of has that, he gives his actors that liberty to really kind of paint the picture for themselves and maybe use it in the film to tell a story. I really like that. I really like the collaborative effort in any art form, whether it be like as a musician, as myself, for example, or even in movies. Just knowing that the actors had that ability to be even more creative outside of words on a piece of paper makes me kind of excited for any film that's coming up. And knowing that Christopher Nolan's like that, and then just Christopher Nolan, right? He's that guy like Quentin Tarantino. You see his name, you're like, I'm in. I don't care what it is. I'm personally excited. Other than that, I really have no feelings whatsoever about the cast. It's more about it's Christopher Nolan. I'm a fanboy of his.
Fair enough. Thrawn.
Yeah, no, it's Christopher Nolan. That's pretty much it. He's the star of the movie, as far as I'm concerned. I dig his thoughtfulness, but as far as Robert Pattinson goes, I don't have any kind of hate for the Twilight movies. I'm not gonna say I'm a fan of those flicks, but at the same time, I didn't hate it. I seen them all, and he was fine, I guess is the common term right now. He's fine. Cedric Diggory didn't get a chance to shine. He kind of existed so he could not exist anymore. But otherwise, yeah, no, it's you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
he's the spare.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't have any real feelings whatsoever about Robert Pattinson. Because, yeah, he was in Harry Potter, but what did he really do in the film? Except,
it blew my mind. People were like, "Yo, let's make him the new Batman," and I was like, "Whoa, really? I need to see some more coming from this guy before I'm like, yeah, I'm down with him to be Batman."
Which, I mean, to be fair, if you watch something like Good Times or God, what was that one from a couple of years ago? Crap, now I'm blanking. Oh crap! Is that Cronenberg film? God damn it! I just saw it like last year. Why am I blanking on this? This is High Life. There we go. Or no, that wasn't a Cronenberg film, but whatever. I caught that too, and that was also him. Really good. So, it could be a good casting, and yes, like you guys both said, also super huge Nolan fan myself. Kees, as also big Nolan fan.
No, I'm not. I will actually go against the grain on this one. I think the last great film that Nolan made was The Dark Knight, and that was 11 years ago. So it's been a while since he's actually made a great movie.
Even though if the like to dislike ratio is still greater than the dislike, would that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Like, I think Memento, Prestige, and The Dark Knight are great. Batman Begins is great. But I really don't care for Inception. I really hate The Dark Knight Rises. I think Interstellar is good, as I said. Not great, just good. And I think Dunkirk is fine. So I think that Nolan has kind of lost his touch with his more recent films. Some I'm interested in this next project, but I'm not jumping up and down the staircase every fucking time like, oh my god, Christopher Nolan is directing a movie, like a shit ton of fanboys are. I'm like, we'll see what he makes next, and we'll see if it's good. And I hope that it's the caliber of The Dark Knight or Prestige or something. But I'm doubtful. Like, I'm hopeful. I hope that it's great, but I'm very doubtful.
Well, in here, I'll cross my fingers just that much tighter for you on your behalf. Sounds like a
That,
plan?
that comment was so controversial. I wish we had air horns for it.
Wow. Oh my God! Yes. See, now here's the sad thing: is that I could set up sound bites, but the problem is I don't have it set up to where you guys would be able to hear them. Which,
as long as the audience can hear it, that's all that matters, man. It's all about them.
Yeah, I'm down.
Hi, audience.
That is like Chris says something, and he's like, "Hey, check this out." And we're going to continue with the show.
Oh my God!
I have an air horn app. I have an air horn app. I'm gonna use
So
it.
saying.
Look, check it out. Check it out.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anytime someone says something contrarian, like my friend here, I'm gonna play that.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. And Nico, do you have any thoughts before we move on, or?
Yeah. So for one, I keep forgetting that the Twilight movies were a thing. So like when Robert Pattinson's name gets brought up, I just think of all the indie films that I haven't seen but know he's been in because people have said he's been in a lot of great indie films since the Twilight franchise. So I have faith in Robert Pattinson in whatever role you put him in. As for this movie, which does not have a title and just has a cast list, I'm excited for the behind-the-scenes footage of the mountains of crazy-ass props that Nolan is going to design for whatever action scenes he wants to do. Because have you seen the contraptions he built for Inception? They're fucking insane.
Yes.
So, like, whatever this next movie is going to be, I have to imagine that he's going to build something insane.
Yep.
You know what? I think I might have found a new soundbite for the show. It's the way Nico just said, he's fucking insane. That was. Yes. That was perfectly timed. Oh
There
my
you
God. Oh. Woo.
I'm gonna make this show so silly. I apologize in advance.
Oh no, please. To be honest, look, okay, we're playing good at making it silly on our own, but any additional silliness that we can bring that's just natural and fun, please, by all means. I
There
mean,
you go.
shit, there's only so many times that I can go on, 20-minute rants about how the Tom and Jerry movie is the worst thing since Donald Trump, but
he's talking Tom and Jerry again.
No, say relax, Nico, relax. But yeah, no. So like I said, silliness is encouraged around these parts because
Awesome.
you know what?
Awesome.
What's the point of taking life too seriously? Just
I
like if I want to be silly, I'll pop on Bill and Ted, or I'll pop on Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, or
Excellent.
I can go pick up myself a ticket for the upcoming Bill and Ted 3, executive produced by Steven Soderbergh himself. They finally announced a release date set for next year, 2020. Big shock. And what? Yes. Segue. I am effing happy about this. So, Kees, with all due respect, because I know you're not familiar with the franchise, I will skip past you on this story. David B., You got that smile that says, "I am so happy for this."
All right. Look. I've never seen a Bill and Ted film.
Okay.
But I'm a huge Keanu Reeves fan from his action films like Speed, Matrix, the John Wick films. So, just based on the fact that he found it worthy enough to return to this franchise, like what, 20, 25, 30 years after the fact?
Pretty much 30 years, yeah.
Right? for him to be like, I want to come back and revisit this character because they have something to say about it. It has sparked my interest in. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna try to go find those films on Blu-ray or something this weekend so I can go see what the hubbub's about. But other than that, honestly, I've never seen the film, so I really don't have a strong opinion one way or the other than the fact that I like Keanu Reeves, so I'm probably gonna check it out.
Now, so you mentioned a little non sequitur about Collider Live earlier, and I think to also mention it one briefly fast. One thing you'll notice is that George Carlin is pretty much at the top of his game as the character of Rufus in those movies, so you will definitely enjoy that. Now, Thrawn, have you caught up on Bill and Ted?
Oh, dude, that's like foundational stuff for me. I love Bill and Ted.
Awesome.
I was pretty stoked to see the announcement and all that. I didn't know how it was going to be. What's his name? Keanu Reeves has got this whole like I'm 22 forever kind of vibe going. And so seeing Alex Winter on the other hand, I'm wondering, honestly, what I got. I don't know if you guys know Beavis and Butthead very well.
Yes.
But there's a couple clips of Beavis and Butthead where they aged them super far into the future, and they're kind of old men looking. So I'm wondering how close the old Bill and Ted are going to be to the old Beavis and Butthead.
I mean, now I'm just trying to picture Beavis going around a nursing home with an old walker, and he's just drank a crap ton of pop, and he's just like, I am the great Cornholio! I need TP for my bunghole! You know. So, now, Nico, you weren't on the Keanu Reeves episode of Who Cares Anyway, but are you familiar with the Bill and Ted?
I'm familiar with the Ted movies that Seth MacFarlane made.
Never mind.
But listen. So my history with time
that was good.
My history with time travel films is iffy because like I don't like time travel films.
You suck.
No. Let me explain.
He's half right.
Let me explain in context here. I don't like time travel films in that they promote a message of time travel is fun. When really, if you look at every other thing about time travel, it shows there's consequences. You like don't mess with the space-time continuum. Having said that, I did enjoy the Back to the Future movies, and I am a regular watcher of The Flash on the CW, where they screw up the timeline every single week. So.
What's your fucking problem?
Whoa, Kees, please fix your input. Please fix your input.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. No, literally, just go to your settings.
I can't. It's just my headphones.
Okay.
But.
Sorry.
So for the sake of. I am curious now because like there is going to be a gigantic age gap between these first two movies and the third one. So I'm going to watch. I don't know why Chris is laughing right now.
You missed it.
Didn't get the soundbite.
Yeah, you missed it, bro. Sorry, that's my bad.
Anyway, so I'm going to watch the first two movies because I want to see like how big of a difference the third movie will be from the first two. And secondly, Keanu Reeves is a badass. Like, he and I are fellow black belts in martial arts, so I feel like I've got to support his work a little bit more.
I agree with that. I have a question, though. Do you think it's going to be a direct sequel, or do you think this is more like a soft reboot, almost kind of like a remake type of thing? Because it has been so many years, right? Like,
I would assume it's like a Force Awakens type of thing, where it's still a sequel, but it's going to reboot-ish the franchise.
Right, I would think so too.
Literally, you took the words right out of my mouth.
And I don't even know a single thing about the franchise. Yay!
by the way, I just want to mention something Star Drew said on the chat. He says, "What are you doing in your life, man?" He's asking that question to me.
We are all asking that question to you.
I'm not, so don't feel that bad.
To be fair, sometimes we all ask it to ourselves when we're. When we're either writing a song that we don't even know is going to be popular, or if we're just sitting in front of a computer screen for 2 hours on a podcast, that who knows if anyone's actually watching,
Because who cares anyway, right?
That's the name of the show.
Hey. That's not gonna get old. That will never get old.
No, it will not.
Nope. All right. Okay. Now, I've seen that because we're actually having some good conversation. I'm gonna cut one story from the news, and I'm just gonna skip to something that it's kind of it's just something I got on my heart, and I just want to get this off my chest. Listen, Cannes Film Festival. You guys, hold.
Con.
Well done.
Wrong
Well done.
franchise.
I don't get it. What's everyone laughing about?
Yes.
Woo, yes. But no, okay.
It's the same pitch too. Did y'all notice that?
It was.
It's the same pitch.
God. Yeah, that's great. Oh my god. But okay, so listen, Cannes Film Festival. I hold a lot of respect for you guys because you're one of the more respectable film festivals out there.
One of the most.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of the films that get well received at said film festival go on to be either box office hits or critical darlings or Oscar winners, so on and so forth. But just because one Netflix film comes in and wins a ton of Oscars, all of a sudden you guys are gonna hop on the Steven Spielberg bandwagon of, oh, we're too cool for Netflix films. We wish to only play true cinema. You guys are a fucking movie theater. You're a glorified movie theater. Just play the goddamn movies. Is that too much to ask? Okay. Brief rant over. David, did you have any thoughts about that?
Oh, I can probably rant about this too because I heard about this. And I think this is the stupidest fucking thing ever. First of all, all right, just taking away that it's movies, just the fact that it's art, right? Who the fuck are you to say what is art and what isn't art, right? Just because a movie comes on, I can watch it on my Netflix app or whatever. All of a sudden, it's not worthy or it's not dignified enough for you to be considered an actual epic film or a piece of cinematography. Like, it's still a movie. It's the same thing that pisses me off about the Grammys and how like they don't even bother to air like certain categories like rock or metal on the Grammys because it's lesser art. Like, that is such BS because those people work just as hard to create their content. They are just as passionate. They are just as vocal. They are just as much into the craft of making something. And for you to just say like, but it's not good enough. It's not what we think is real art. I think it's just utter horseshit. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And I could probably keep saying it's so stupid. So I'm going to end my rant now too. But I think it's ridiculous. It's so dumb.
Yeah, it's about as painful as it was for some people listening to Jeff die. Am I right, Nico?
Yeah.
But speaking of Nico, did you have any thoughts on Cannes being ignorant?
So I didn't know that they were jumping on Steven Spielberg's bandwagon here, but like my thoughts have not really changed on the issue, in that I feel like you should count Netflix films in the Oscars because they are films. They're just released in a different way. Like David B said, art is art, no matter how you put it. And it brings me back to when Meryl Streep talked shit about mixed martial arts in one of her acceptance speeches a couple years ago. It has the word art in the name of the sport. I mean, it is a sport, but it's based off of martial arts, art forms. I'm a wrestling fan. That's an art form. It's a form of performance art. These are musicians, right? We have three musicians right here. That's a form of performance art. Like, art is whatever you make it out to be. And who are you to say that it can be that? No, it's only considered worthy of our standards if it's released in this form. No, like Banksy made his name off of just putting his art on walls in the middle of the street and on bridges. And he's a household name. We don't know what he looks like, but he's a household name.
Yeah. Kind of like somebody we have here on the show.
Exactly. Exactly. Like it's Thrawn's artistic way of doing things to not show his face.
That wasn't like a slight.
No, I was agreeing
way.
with you. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. No, it's because I heard Chris go ooh, and I was like, no. but yes, I agree with Nico. Like it's art. It's people creating something out of nothing, just by the sheer fact of you creating. Literally, there was a movie that exists now that didn't exist before you made it. Just like there's a match that we can probably go watch, whether it be WWE or AEW or even a martial arts match that exists now.
Or the
Schmodown. It's art. It's people being passionate about something and creating something out of nothing. Like, who is anybody to say really that it's not that? You know, I don't understand that kind of like elitist thinking.
Well, and I don't understand it either. And you know, to go back to the whole Spielberg thing, like one of the things that I'm just still so confused about regarding that whole situation is Spielberg was one of the original rebels. I mean, it was him, De Palma, Lucas, Coppola, and Scorsese.
Yep.
Like those guys set out to completely redefine what Hollywood is, and they did it in spades. Every major innovation that we see in movies today, you have those 5 guys to thank for it.
Yep.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yep.
So
Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
2000. Oh my God. See, I'm gonna ask Chris, what year was
it?
It? 8. All right. See, I'm not 8.
8.
9.
Yeah.
Chicken and beer.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, speaking of Mr. Chicken and Beer, Thrawn, did you have any thoughts on this nonsense or?
I mean, look, think about it, man. Is it not a movie because it's on Netflix? You know, like it doesn't make sense to me, honestly. I don't get it. Kind of in this stupid way, it reminds me of Metallica "Swing Napster" because the future's scary or whatever. Yeah. But I don't know. It's the same. I feel the same way about it as David does. It's not any less art. Like if I wanted to be shady about it, I'd say, "Yo, what are you afraid that some kind of indie dude or some kind of Netflix flick is going to take away your chance to shine at the Oscars? Is that what's going on?" Or I don't know. A good movie is a good movie. I'm going to watch it at home 99% of the time anyway.
Yeah, because let's face facts. You know, sadly, theater ticket prices aren't getting any lower. And, you know, these days I have a hard time going to see a movie in theaters unless it's a press screening. So, you know, it's just one of those things. Like, I wish there was another way around it. I wish that, you know, there would let people... You know what? Fuck it. I wasn't going to make a political comparison, but I'm just going to fucking do it. This is turning into a Republicans and Democrats kind of thing. This is turning into a Marvel and DC kind of thing. This is turning into a Star Trek, Star Wars kind of thing. Please. Hollywood, don't make this one of those things. All art is art. It's as fucking simple as that. Kees, I hope your audio issues are fixed. And you're muted.
Oh, dang it. I didn't have the air horn. Here we go. Oh, it's not ringing. Oh, no. Wah, wah, wah.
Okay. Technical difficulties. Yeah.
Technical difficulties.
It happens, man. That's what happens when you're live.
This is what happens, you know. It's all good. And
Nope. Can't hear you, bud. Can't hear you at all.
Sadly, we cannot hear you, but...
I wonder... I'm going to try to translate what he's saying. Hold on. Oh, shit. Hold on.
This is awesome.
God damn it!
That's all right. That's all right.
Piece of shit! God damn! No fucking hell! God.
You gotta plug it in, bro.
No, it's all good. Hey.
That deserves all the air horns.
Oh.
I was about to say, if something had to go wrong, I'm glad that this is the way it went wrong, because it just means that during the break, everything will be back to normal, back to fixed. So while Kees is taking care of himself Oh,
guys.
hey,
Yeah, can hit.
I was about to translate for you. I'm pretty I'm pretty sure he said somewhere in there Captain Marvel's the best Marvel film of all time. I swear I heard his lips say that.
Fucking out.
That's why he's got that Last Jedi poster.
Exactly.
Oh
Anyway,
my
I'm just-
god!
Look, I'm gonna be on my phone while I restart my computer. I will just say that about the film festival, I actually just rewatched an episode of South Park, and that episode is called Chef's Salty Chocolate Balls.
Yes.
And
Fantastic.
It is season 2, and it is actually about the film festivals being so much up their own fucking ass, because they always are. The film festivals are always up their fucking ass, thinking too much about them fucking self, than rather thinking about what is the actual best movie coming out. And that's exactly what is still happening today. This is why I love the show South Park. Because all their stuff they're tackling in old episodes, like this is season 2. That means that this episode came out in either 1998 or 1999. It's so goddamn old that it's still relevant today. That is amazing that they actually had an episode about that, and it's still relative. So it's just like the film festivals have always been too much up their own ass, and they can't even accept what the fuck modern society is really doing. That, oh, wait, maybe you should consider Netflix movies to be on your film festival. Maybe that would actually give your film festival a better status. Because seriously, some of the Netflix movies have been actually really good. I can't remember any of them right now, but they're actually pretty good. So yeah, that's essentially my point.
And that's actually a fair point. I mean, I don't know how many more times I think you could have used the phrase "up their own fucking ass," but to be fair,
not enough.
When English isn't your first language, you sometimes just have a limited vocabulary. Again, I'm giving you shit, Case. I'm giving you shit.
Truth hurts.
Because to be fair,
Shut
like I don't know what happened with your Skype. I don't know what happened there. It's stupid.
I don't know either.
But
It
is. I mean, what the fuck? Come on. Which is, I think, what Warner Brothers is asking themselves after, look, this is the best possible way the situation went down, but Kevin Tsujihara, what the fuck were you thinking? Did you honestly think that, granted, having a completely legitimate and consensual relationship with a young actress, cool, good on you, man, awesome.
Yeah.
But at what point did you think that, promising her a career in return for sleeping with her was gonna be a good idea? It's kind of like the whole Pat's owner getting caught up with that scandal down in Florida thing, which I still have not given Ryan enough shit for, one of our other co-hosts on the show. But Nico, as probably the most nicest to DC on this panel, thoughts about Kevin Tsujihara stepping down after his little whoopsie daisy.
Optics, man, optics. You have to see for yourself how bad this is going to look if it gets in the public light, and it did. And even if it was consensual, still not the greatest idea. You got to report that shit to human resources, and even then, still probably not the best idea.
Nope.
So, I'm just wondering now, who is replacing this guy?
I don't believe they've actually named the official replacement yet. I know that there's a couple of people who are on a board that are like just filling in temporarily until the new CEO is officially stated in, but still.
Okay, then here's my suggestion. Warner Brothers, hire someone who doesn't have a penis.
Pretty much.
Like
Forward thinking.
Start changing the climate from within. And hire someone who's not a dude bro, who's not gonna abuse their actors or make them do questionable things. for their own pleasure.
So, Nico, here's the question: what is the policy on she-males?
Wow.
You know
More
what?
than meets the eye.
Wow.
You know, Case, I did not think of that when I was uttering my sentences.
Fair
so
play.
I will give you
I'll allow
props
it.
for that.
As I
give you
say,
props for that.
David B, hit it. Yep. Thank you. Because I don't care where you're from. That was great. But yeah, no.
I think it would depend on how powerful the vagina is to them, right? That's really what it is, right? It's guys unable to repel the beauty and the majesty and the sheer greatness. I'm gonna stop.
I was about to say no. I was saying this is going Tom Dagnino. Never go full Dagnino.
Never go full Dagnino.
Win a goldfish here.
Yeah, I just want a goldfish, guys. No, but all right. All joking aside, though, right? It's really guys. I'm not all right, because not all men. Whatever. But it's people who are like just can't control their vices. That's you know what I mean. And I feel like that industry puts you in a position of power where you can't help. But if you're that kind of person, you're gonna abuse that power.
Exactly, and I'm not saying this to blame Los Angeles or Hollywood or the West Coast in general, but it just seems like people in power always find a way to get hooked on some kind of vice, and I just wish there was a way for that to not happen.
Yeah, it's absolute power corrupts absolutely, man. I mean,
oh, bro, this just got deep.
It got too dark. it went from me trying to tell a really bad joke to me being like, let me make this serious to redeem myself.
It's like in your one song where you start dissing Harloff and then you're like, I'm sorry, I'm really
exactly. Yeah, guys, I'm so sorry. I need
Give me a ticket to the Schmodown, you bitch. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, guys. By the way, all right. Well, you know what? I'll talk about that song later. But I just want a quick little a little morsel of a taste of what's to come. I was so nervous posting that song because I didn't know the joke would play. But yeah,
honestly, if you had like asked me beforehand, I would have just told you he would love it, and of course he fucking did.
He did. Yeah.
But yeah, no, and like, Case, did you have any other thoughts about? Oh, never mind.
No, he's still here. But his face.
No, I'm here. It's just that, my computer versus phone is really being fucked up. But can you guys see me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I'm on my phone.
Yep.
I'll just finish the show on my phone because I think my computer is done for the day in terms of Skype.
Fair enough.
Topic again.
Okay. Well, actually, you know what? I think we'll get out of Mr. Idiot at Warner Brothers, and we'll move on to the obvious one, the topic I've been trying to avoid all week with you. Here we go. Toy Story 4. Yeah, in case, take your drink. Now, look, everybody, to give context. Case doesn't hate Toy Story 3. He's said it on record, it's a well-made movie. It's just not for him. He much prefers the second than the first one.
Fair enough.
So, now, walk me through why you really didn't like the trailer for Toy Story 4.
Okay. Look, I have gone on record saying I think Toy Story 1 is good. I think Toy Story 2 is great. And I think Toy Story 3 is fine. It exists. I really don't care for it because I honestly think that Toy Story 3... Toy Story 3, just read it what Toy Story 2 did in a different way. But they kind of ended the story. So I'm like, okay, end the story with Toy Story 3. Then a few years ago, they make the announcement, there's going to be Toy Story 4. I'm like, wait, what? We have more story to tell after 3? What? Wait. What story is there to tell after 3? Okay. There's apparently more they want to tell. I have been essentially against this movie from day one. Like, this is just them wanting to make money because, yes, big surprise, Toy Story 3 is one of the most profitable Pixar movies of all time. So, of course, they're gonna make a sequel, right? Yeah. Then there's a trailer. I actually saw it. I actually gave it a legit chance, and I'm like, well, this just looks like the other Toy Story movies. There's a new character, and the character is going to get lost, and it's going to get retrieved for the owner, and that's your movie. And that's actually just not Toy Story. That's just a lot of Pixar movies in general. Like, it's just a trope that Pixar movies use to essentially, in the like overall, make a tell a bigger story that is more meaningful than just a character gets lost and gets retrieved. Because in truth, Inside Out is like that, and that's my favorite Pixar movie. So and even Wall-E is like that, and a lot of Finding Nemo is like that. So a lot of great Pixar movies are the same. They have the same formula of a character gets lost, they have to get retrieved, they get retrieved before the end of the movie, everything's well. That's a Pixar formula, essentially. But there is a difference between doing it well and doing it not well, and I think that doing it not well will be probably Toy Story 4, because honestly, I think this trailer was extremely bland. They really want to just make another Toy Story movie to make money, and I'm not looking forward to this because honestly, just this trailer just doesn't look good. And that is in a long line of Pixar trailers not being good, because Pixar trailers have not been good, period.
I would say, and let's be fair here. I'll argue, even going as far back as something like Up, Pixar trailers have sucked. Even going so far back as saying something like Monsters, Inc. Go back and watch some of those early trailers. They suck. Finding Nemo, same thing. Cars, oof. Ugh. No. So you have a fair point there.
Your opinion on that first Cars movie?
Well, and to be fair, I think the first Cars movie is fine. Like, I'm kind of like you on Toy Story 3. It's fine. It exists. There's some good parts. There's some bad parts. It is what it is. Now, Nico, you caught the trailer?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
What'd you think?
So when this movie was announced, I felt like they're gonna have to sell me with something new to get me on board, because I was on the same page of like, they ended this trilogy in the perfect place. Like, and in my opinion, right behind How to Train Your Dragon, Toy Story is the greatest trilogy of all time. But
okay.
But anyway, but so they were going to have to show something to me in order to get me invested in the fourth. And they did. They introduced the character of Forky, a character who does not want to be a toy. He just happens to be made into a toy, and now he's like struggling to deal with the existence of what he is now, and like Woody having to help him cope through that. That's an interesting story that I think we can all get behind. Like, we're all unsure of our place in the world at some point in time in life, and it's just kind of interesting to see it told from the perspective of a spork with fake eyes glued onto him. So I'm going to get behind that. And also, Bo Peep. She's seen some things and done some stuff since the last time we saw her. I want to know what those things she's seen and done are, and like what caused her to change into the character she is now. So like they've given me story elements that I want to see fleshed out, and so that's a reason for me to get behind this movie. And Chris has given me a weird face, and I don't know why.
I'm going to throw it to Thrawn and David B first before I go into my final point. Thrawn, did you check it out?
Okay. Yeah, on this Toy Story front, like, okay, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not the hugest Pixar fan in the world. But, like, you can take it a couple of different ways, because I agree that, like, it sounds like a cash grab. They're just trying to make some more Toy Story magic happen. But at the same time, okay, if you pretend it was Star Wars and you're like, oh, hey, there's another Star Wars movie coming out. I want to see it because I love it. Okay, so Toy Story. I love it. I want to see more Toy Story. Here you go. So there's your Toy Story. Like, be happy, have fun. It's great. But at the same time, I don't know if this is one of those things where it's like, yeah, we're trying to make $1 million off of this. Oh, I said $1 million like an idiot. A whole bunch of millions of dollars. Off of
$100 million.
Exactly. You know? Like it could be a cash grab. But, you know, going back to the whole conversation we were having earlier about art and passion and this and that, like there's got to be people in there who are loving all of this and just like, you know, let's do some more of this. Let's make flicks for new people, you know, because I kind of think about Monsters, Inc. and how, like, I think it was going around that, like, when the first Monsters, Inc. came out, everybody who saw it were like, you know, besides the parents or whoever, were kids. And then when the second one came out, they were straight up like, yo, we're just getting out of college ourselves, you know? And so it's kind of like this whole sweet wrap up kind of situation. So maybe the whole Toy Story thing is like, yeah, we were down for Toy Story when we were kids, and now we're older, and now we're having existential crises of our own. Like, we don't know what's going on with the world. We don't know how life is going. There was I think it was a Movie Talk episode like this week about that whole Forky business, and Forky was just this like, yo, what am I doing here? I'm a spork. I'm supposed to be eating some chili or something else. I'm not supposed to be a toy or whatever. But at the same time, you know, okay, so, I'm sorry. That kind of makes me double think the whole situation where it's like, well, dude, does that mean forks and sporks and plasticware have lives before toys too, and they're also alive? But still, it's just this thing where it's like, yeah, we kind of, like, hey, now we're all old. Let's take our kids and they'll see the Toy Story and they'll fall in love with this Toy Story. But I hate to be the kind of one dude who's like, yeah, they're just trying to make money. But there's going to be some art in there. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to see something. You're going to take a message out of it. You're going to say, okay, I didn't really see that coming. And you guys are right, dude. Those Pixar trailers are garbage. Like, there's probably a whole lot more to this movie that we haven't seen yet, you know?
And that's
to
be fair, the trailer looks like it's only covering maybe the first 40 minutes of the movie. Because I can imagine there's a whole bunch more to it that we obviously aren't seeing. David.
Well, let me preface this by saying that Toy Story, besides being my favorite Pixar movie and favorite Pixar franchise, it's my favorite Disney movie of all time. When that movie came out, I was like 7, 8 years old, and I watched that movie literally nonstop on VHS to the point where the VHS stopped working. I could literally recite the opening scene verbatim of Andy playing with his toys. I love that film so much. I love the trilogy. Number one, my least favorite is number 2 for personal reasons, but I think, again, one of the greatest trilogies, if not the greatest trilogy of all time. That being said, I kind of agree with Kees in that 4 feels like a rehash. Like, oh, I'm a spork, but now I'm my toy. Sounds very familiar to, oh, I'm an astronaut, but I'm really a toy from number 1 with Buzz Lightyear. It feels like a rehash. And the trailers are what they are. And the movie didn't really do anything to really sell me on being excited for Toy Story 4 compared to like the way Toy Story 3 kind of got me excited about, oh, Andy's going to college. Like, what does that mean for them? You know what I mean? That being said, it is Pixar. Even Pixar's like lowest film is still relatively good. So I'll probably go watch it. But that being said, I'm a little disappointed in it. I really thought we wrapped it up nicely with Toy Story 3. I don't know what else they can say, honestly, up to this point for Toy Story 4. So I'm a little skeptical. So I'm going in with like really, really low expectations. And then considering it is my favorite Disney franchise, it makes me a little bummed out to be like, oh man, I really want to feel excited for this, and I'm just not. I'm really like, it looks like whatever.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of where I'm at, because Toy Story 3, like literally, much like Nico, much like yourself, I'll make the argument that Toy Story is one of, if not the greatest animated film trilogy of all time. And my enjoyment goes literally 3, 2, 1. And you want to know how close they are to each other? Pretty damn close. Like, here's 3, here's 2, here's 1. I love these movies, and 3 still brings me to tears every single
How
time.
great is Toy Story?
Yeah, Toy Story 2 is great. Yeah, Case, just
Calm down.
I know you off camera. He and I have gone at it many a time over just why he can't understand why I love Toy Story 3 so much. But it's fine. It's fine. But as I'm watching this trailer, I'm noticing something about Bo Peep, and I'm scared. I am genuinely scared about where they're going to try to take her character. Because, first off, if they make her the villain, then I will hate the hell out of this movie. And I'm actually dead serious because, first off, you're giving her the angle of this, empowered, embattled woman. Awesome. That's fine. You want to do that? Cool. But if you're going to make her the villain because she's this empowered, battle-hardened woman, you do realize, Disney, that then that would set apart all those years of progress that you guys have been making through Force Awakens, through Captain Marvel, through Black Widow,
Frozen.
through Frozen. All that progress you've been making is just going to go throw out the fucking window if that's the angle you're going to go with Bo Peep. You need to fucking realize that. So, and I'm sorry, but the trailers are just screaming that to the heavens that, oh, we like Bo Peep, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the trailer, the minute I saw the trailer too, I was like, is Bo Peep the villain? Like, it's like a classic setup of like, I'm here to help you figure yourself out, Woody. Psych, I'm the bad guy type of trope.
Which,
It's
It could
weird.
work.
Because that's, well, and you know what, and sure, it could, but literally, like, that's a huge uphill fight. It would have to go then, at least for me personally as a viewer, because, I love seeing Woody and Bo Peep as a couple in the first 2 films because they were actually really cute together.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but
It's weird. It's weird. There's an argument that could be made that like if Disney's putting forth the message of equality, right? That all men and all women are created equal, we can all do whatever, right? That I personally like the idea that maybe a female interprets being strong and independent in that wrong way, and she leans towards more being like selfishly independent. You know what I'm saying?
I'm on
would
that
be-
page too.
and now to be fair, if that's the angle that they actually go for, then by all means, because that's deconstruction. That is properly tearing down an argument to rebuild it and build it better. I just don't know if that's how it will play across in the execution. Now,
But here's the thing. I at least have faith that Pixar can better deconstruct that argument than Tim Allen can deconstruct the argument as to why he can say the N-word.
Yes.
woo!
Yes. Wow. Wait.
Woo!
Guys, that deserves an air horn. You got to give me at least 5 seconds.
Right. There are shots fired.
Yeah, shots fired indeed. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We're going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back after this and enjoy the music from our beloved guests, David B and Thrawn2k5. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Clickbait.
Nah, you're not talking a little on the phone. Clickbait. Why you clicking on that video? Clickbait. He hates the foe and he hates DC. Don't you know that's what he sees? So put it in your pants and do a fucking dance. Clickbait. Christian doesn't like Willem Dafoe. Clickbait. I'm gonna Disney shell and they say clickbait. My God loves Lincoln dead. Get it over his motherfucker. Shut the fuck up. Clickbait. McCougan's never played guitar because nobody plays guitar like that. First of all, I'm slapping the bass. Avatar got all the sequels. Clickbait. Where's Pocahontas? Clickbait. No, I don't love Last Jedi. It's just a movie. It's just a movie. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Clickbait. Clickbait. Christian didn't see any fucking movie. Clickbait. Clickbait. Christian spawned 3 identical strangers. Clickbait. Clickbait. Please don't have your name Taylor. Josh. Josh. Clickbait. Clickbait. Fuck Hitler. Boom.
Amazing how stupid people are sometimes.
When you're big back to see, but love Marvel as well. You're big back to see and by Warner somehow. You're allowed to hate and love different reasons. Clickbait, clickbait. Whoa, you can't please them all. Whoa, whatever you do, they'll try to put down. Whoa, this cyberspace is full of trolls. Doesn't matter what you do, it's all clickbait to these fools. When the headline they wrote isn't the topic they touch, at the beginning of a video you just had to click on. They can take as long as they want to get to their point. It isn't clickbait. Clickbait. You can't please them all. Whatever you do, they'll try to put down. This cyberspace is full of trolls. Doesn't matter what you do, it's all clickbait to these fools.
Way to go, Kawhi. You really have hit the rock bottom. Put it in your pants and do a fucking dance in. Cause you didn't see any fucking movie. No, let's get on. Generate motherfuckers. Get started. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the movie.
I really hope somebody makes a metal version. That would be great.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit sorry that I keep constantly comparing Resistance to Avatar, but at the same time, the parallels are way too many to count. Because Miku is Sokka.
He is the comic relief. He makes a lot of mistakes, but his plans do work, even though they're batshit.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, and then, like we said, Tam is Zuko.
Yeah.
And of course, that would make Kaz Aang and
And
Korra is
Tora Katara.
yeah. So another reason why I ship it. As I even said on our last Who Cares Anime podcast, I haven't been feeling that as much from the movies. This is where I've been getting my fix for that though, because what's my main draw to Star Wars? It's the characters and the history of it. And in this show, I get both. And I am so damn happy about that. And we are back on the Who Cares Anyway podcast. Once again, I'm Chris Dohmen, the host, and I'm here with Nico Rigoli. Oh, wait, hold on. He's in the bathroom, I think. But what are you going to do?
That's what his poops sound like.
That's why I use the phone.
Yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Oh, my
Dude,
God.
like, imagine that's what you do. You go to a public restroom, you're like, oh, good, no one heard that. Yeah, exactly.
So
There he is.
So then what do you do if you're dropping like X-Lax or something right before you go into a public bathroom? Just
That's
dude,
liquid
you hold
metal.
it. You hold it forever, dude.
there we go.
Don't even give him the chance, bro. Don't even give him the chance.
This is like the sound of Cartman shits in Make Love Not Warcraft.
What the fuck did I just
yes!
watch? What conversation
That
did I
scene-
just watch in?
That
Yeah,
scene
so-
is so hilarious.
Your conversation. You started this.
It was about you.
It was about you. I mean, because, but yes, guys, we are back with David B and Thrawn, and
Hey.
you know what? I think we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. We're gonna really start just breaking down, like, obviously our love for the show, and obviously, the fact that all three of us, David B, Thrawn, and myself, we've all written songs for Collider Live because we're all bored musicians occasionally who just want to let off a quick song just to pay free publicity. Why not? But Thrawn, because I came across your song first, I'll start off with you. When you was the call to action from the clickbait episode, was that like what inspired you to finally give them a taste of what you could do?
Legit, that's 100% what it was. They flat out said somebody out there is gonna make a song out of this or whatever else. And like, I know how to do that kind of stuff. And like, to be honest, I haven't musiced since it's been a long time since I put anything down on I guess a hard drive now, not tape. But they said, hey, somebody's gonna make a song out of this. I'm like, well, I know how to cut out clips and I know how to write music, and they sang in rhythm, and they sang like it was an actual song. So I thought, okay, I can probably lift this and put it on to something. And so that's what I did. I was like, all right, I'll just, sure, why not? Like, I've been doing nothing for a long time. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and clip out these bits and see if I can't make some semblance of a cohesive song out of it. And that's what happened. It was cool. Like, they're funny guys. You know what I mean? They go off the cuff all the time. And so I grabbed their clips and I was like, there's a rhythm here. So I tapped out the BPM and I was like, all right, here we go. There's a song in here. And so that's what I did. I made a song starring those guys.
And just for funsies, what tuning was that in?
That one was in the whole 7-string to drop C and then the low string. I only used the low string once on that particular song. On the second chorus, it gets super muddy, and that's because it's a low G. But otherwise, it's a drop C.
Fuck yeah,
nice,
dude. That's metal as fuck.
That's metal as fuck. But then I'll be honest. Obviously, and people were very receptive of it because I know the video is at like what 1,300, 1,400 views, but of course, the immediate heartthrob out of that first clickbait contest was David B with, that just beautiful pop punk Blink-182 style song. Man. And yeah, like walk me through how you came about with that idea, because you took a different approach where they barely heard themselves, but you and obviously, dude, your harmony game on point.
Oh, dude. Thank you so much, man. It means a lot for you saying that, because I'm always like, the hardest thing I'm on is my voice, because I don't feel like I'm a singer. So for you to say that, means the world to me, bro. And I think I love you. Anyways. No, but I don't remember. I remember I was just on YouTube randomly. It was like a boring day, and I was just bored. And I ran across Collider. Obviously, I'm a fan of Collider, Schmodown, and then even before Schmodown, Schmoes Know, and all that stuff. And like Thrawn, I heard them go off the cuff about clickbait, and immediately when they just started like singing, I was like, oh, to me, I was like, oh, that's a punk rock song, like clickbait, right? And they were all saying it in unison. I was like, that sounds really punk rock to me, like the anthem, right? So I went into it thinking like, I'm gonna make a punk rock song, like Blink-182-ish, maybe Ramones-ish, but probably more punk because that tends to be like what everyone kind of grew up on. Yeah. And at first, I tried doing what Thrawn did, which is get audio clips and try to like make a song out of the audio clips and make it make sense. But I got so frustrated trying to like actually fix the audio clips in time so it sounds in tune with the song. I did like an hour, 2 hours of it, and I just got so angry with it because it didn't sound good to me. I was like, man, fuck it, I'll just write my own lyrics. I don't give a fuck. I was so angry, and then because of that anger, and then listening to how like they complain about the trolls and how people are always like, this is clickbait, and you're being paid by Marvel, you're and all this bullshit. I was like, oh, I'll make the song about that, like clickbait. And then I went into it thinking like I'm gonna make a song that they can kind of live vicariously through, to where stuff they normally probably wouldn't really say, I'll say it for them. So the whole thing was like, yeah, I can like Marvel, I can like DC, I can like Disney, I can like Warner, like fuck you guys. When I'll get to what I want to get to when I want to get to it, and that was the idea of the song. And then of course, obviously, being a musician that I am, I wanted to show off like that I'm a legit musician, and I don't know, man. Like I was.
I'm trying to remember what was the title card? Epic shred and the most epic shred, something like that.
Yeah. So like the idea behind it was obviously like I want to show off that I'm a decent musician, right? And it's like, I don't know about you guys, but as a musician, as like a quote unquote artist, right? I always struggle with the fact that I am an artist, and I have to constantly remind myself like, hey, I'm actually a decent artist. So that was kind of me like trying to own up to that in a sense, but also kind of poking fun at it, like trying to be kind of ironic about it. So yeah, and then it came at a time where I was at a creative lull. Like just to let you guys know, I am a professional musician. I teach music, I play music, I play in a bunch of jazz bands, a bunch of country bands, a bunch of rock bands, etc., etc.
What's your age?
And I'm 30.
Okay.
God, you don't look it.
Oh, thank you, man.
You
I
don't
tried.
look it. No, you don't.
You look very young, and you sound even younger.
Oh, thanks, man. It's the childlike voice.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. No, but I wasn't a creative lull, and I don't know, just listening to the show, listening to the guys just have fun and goof off, kind of inspired me to kind of basically do the same in musical form, kind of goof off and just have fun. And that's where the song came out.
That's awesome, because, and yeah, Bay Shock, I, just like with all of Thrawn's tracks, whenever I see one of your tracks, I have to stop what I'm doing and be like, ooh, hello, new David B song. Click. And give it a like and give it a listen. And, and that was exactly how it was for me as well when I wrote my little soundbite, because to be fair, I wasn't planning on writing an actual song. I wanted to just write a soundbite that Cody would download and then just put on the show. And that's why it was just a short 30-second little thing that was just really heavy, and it was just clickbait, put it in your pants and do a fucking dance. It's like it was just one of those things where I had no intention of it actually even getting on the show per se, but then of course I got on the show and I'm like, ooh, sweet.
Yeah. It was one of those things too. I did not think that they would actually play it. I did hope at least Christian would watch it, but I never thought like it's gonna be on the show. And then personally, honestly, this isn't just me like being like, oh, look at him, he's being so humble. For me, I love Thrawn's tune, dude. I'm a big metal guy, so the minute I heard those riffs kick in, and the joke with like McLellan doesn't know how to play guitar because no one plays guitar like that.
And then just an awesome solo.
Yeah, dude. It was so funny, dude. And then the fucking joke about like slapping the bass, and you actually hear him like do 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 do. I was just like, the minute I heard that, I was like, this dude won. Like, I don't even know why I bothered. It was so good, man. And I'm not just saying that. Like, that is still to my like. I mean, all of Thrawn songs are good, but that one's like easily my favorite one, dude. It's so heavy. It's so hilarious, and this is what I like about Thrawn that I wish I could figure out. The way he puts the audio clips in time so well. I'm just like, bro, it's so good.
I'll tell you.
As I say, yeah, no, Thrawn, honestly, like get into that for a moment. Like, walk me through the process of timing those voice clips as well as you do.
Wait,
Okay.
I'm gonna hit record real quick and record. All right, go.
All right. All right. So as far as the timing goes, on that particular song or any of the ones that they actually sing over, which are my favorites to do, when they do the singing and they're just being silly.
Chicken and beer.
Yeah,
Chicken
exactly.
and beer.
And I did the same thing for that one. Most DAWs have a tap tempo. You know what I mean? So you just kind of tap tempo into whatever they're doing, and there's your timing, right? And then as far as the key goes, on that first one, it was me sitting down there with a guitar and just kind of, like, I'm not the musically educated guy. Like, I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to shortchange myself or whatever, but I don't know theory like that. but I do know when notes match. So you just kind of go up the fretboard, you know, bing, 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 bing. Oh, okay, that sounds like it. Yeah, cool. So that's what I did for that first one. That Chicken and Beer song, I actually was like, man, this is a pain in the ass. Like, I don't want to play in whatever flat because they don't have a key to play along or to sing along to. So I did some YouTube research on how to use Reaper and auto-tune. And so I was auto-tuning, like, you know, Roxy and every time you hear their voices change key off of one phrase, they only sing it in one key. And I want to say, I think Harloff's natural key is probably A. But the other...
Right. Like A or E, because I took clickbait like in an E standard type of way. That sounds about right.
Gotcha. And like I said, I had that guitar tuned the way I had it, and I couldn't play in its natural key. I had to kind of futz around a bit. But I thought I have rules when it comes to making these kind of things. And the rule is, dude, don't spend too much time on it. It's a joke. You're making a joke. If you have to do too much work on a joke, then it's almost like having to explain the joke to somebody, which I'm doing right now. But
Yeah, that deserves an air horn.
But yeah, it was just finding the keys and going straight to wherever they're singing and thinking, okay, I think this will probably work, you know. And the blues is the easiest thing on the planet, you know. You pick one spot and you move up a whole string, and then you move over 2 frets, and then you move back 2 frets, and you move down the string again. And so that the Chicken and Beer one was pretty simple. But on that first one, I'm not gonna say I have OCD, but there's certain parts of it that don't match other parts, and I'm like, oh, screw it, it's a metal song. We're just gonna pretend it's like growling vocals instead of actual vocals, and then that way you don't have to worry about keys. And so that's what I did with that one, you know. But it's the tap tempo, you know, a hair of auto tune, and usually comes out pretty good.
Nice,
No, and to be fair, that's kind of like one of the perks of doing a song in more of a metal style is that, luckily in that regard, you can just focus more on just the actual music, the instruments, and not so much the vocals, because, you know, especially as great as Can I Come is, and we'll get there in just a moment, but one of the tricky things I feel is that if I was going to actually try to tune, you know, everybody's vocals, that would be way much more work than I'd be willing to put into it. Which, especially if you, I was going to say, especially if you were to auto-tune like myself and Case's recordings, especially if it was Case earlier when he was just shouting into his mic and we heard nothing but whatever the hell we heard.
I mean, I don't know about.
Thank you.
Under the bus he goes.
Well, I don't know. I can't speak for Thrawn. For me personally, it's a little bit easier nowadays with the DAWs that you have. You could easily tune anything up to whatever you need it to be tuned up to. If you have the right plugins and you have a little bit of knowledge of how to use those plugins. Like for me, for example, not to get too technical, but like I use Logic Pro X and I have Melodyne, which is like the standard for auto tuning.
You bastard!
I know.
Okay, now to be fair, I have Waves Tune, and actually I like it, but
yes,
if I had the budget for Melodyne, my life would be just so much easier.
To be fair, I bought like the super low end where it just lets you like analyze the wave file and then just kind of move the notes. It's just like, but dude, Melodyne is the standard. I'm sure we just lost all the listeners, but
at least I get. Listen. If someone shared the link to Chris Clark, he's in heaven right now. Because he loves listening to people talk about how audio stuff works.
Yeah, but dude, Melodyne it's pretty easy to use once you figure out how to use it, and it's the standard, dude. It's just so simple in the way you can manipulate any audio file to make it just sound pitch perfect. Which is how eventually when we talk to it, but that's how I did the voices in Can I Come. I use Melodyne a lot, and a little bit of Logic plugins too. But
well, yeah, and refresh me, Thrawn, you said you use Reaper to do all your stuff?
Yeah, Reaper's the dopest, like, free thing I've ever seen. I've since purchased, like, the individual license because
Okay.
Every time you log into it for 5 seconds, you have to wait for it to start. But other than that, they let you use everything it comes with free. So I didn't even know it had an auto tune. So my first trip was to Sweetwater. I'm like, okay, what kind of software can I download to get the auto tune going? And there's lots of things for hundreds of dollars. And I'm like, yo, that's an expensive joke. So I used YouTube, and I was like, I just searched in YouTube, how do you auto tune in Reaper? And sure enough, one of the free Reaper plugins is like a super basic auto tune kind of situation. And like, now that I've used it a few times on some of the things, I'm like, okay, well, maybe if I wanted to do better things, I might want to spend some money on auto tune because, okay, I've been in other bands and recorded music. I've been in a studio once or twice, and the auto tunes that those guys were using so much better than the free one that Reaper has. So now that I know what Reaper can do, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to do more, but I still have to come across like a reason to spend the money.
I was gonna say, yeah, no, in a studio setting, like the kind of auto tune that you can have there is the type that can take you from sounding like Randy Marsh to sounding like Lord in 4 different voices.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's real. That's real
I
talk.
love
Yeah.
this reference.
I was gonna say, no, I had to keep Kees somewhat interested there. You know, I had to jingle the keys once.
I'm
love Kees. I love
I'm
you.
listening to the conversation.
I know you're listening. I know you're listening. And to be fair, dude, if you have any like weird random questions, feel free to ask. But yeah.
Anyway, how's your sex life?
We're musicians. You think we have a sex life? Come on now.
Hey, ever since that Collider Live tune dropped, it's still the same.
Hey,
Wait,
Yo,
Thrawn, I have to ask. If you're actually telling the truth and the song business has gotten your sex life up, do you wear the Thrawn mask when you do it?
I can't afford the mask. I just use the paint.
Look, I can tell you one thing. That Thrawn costume is gonna get me laid.
I hope it does.
Guys, I don't get it. Costume. Isn't that what the guy looks like in real life? I don't.
That's my face on the cover of Timothy Zahn's book.
Yeah, exactly. That is. We are talking to the Thrawn. You better watch your mouth, man. Get you executed.
Wait, didn't a whale take you like half a way across the galaxy?
Well, it depends on which version you go by.
I can't tell you what happened with that yet, but you'll find out soon enough.
Filoni's keeping you on a lead.
Yes, Filoni, we know this.
I got a D&C or whatever the hell it's called, the don't disclose contract going right now.
And NDA, that lovely thing that I love to keep breaking every time I'm in California.
There it is, NDA. Yeah. What the fuck is D&C?
The Democratic National Committee.
Yeah.
Oh, woof. I was gonna say the second biggest joke in America. How quickly I forgot.
My bad. In the ascendancy, we don't deal with things like that.
Oh man. Okay, but yeah. So now, as far as the actual like composition of what you guys do, now because dirty little secret here. On every single one of my tracks, because all I have is this one room for all my stuff. So, of course, I have nothing of a music setup. I just have my guitar going straight into my interface, and then as far as my bass, do the same thing. But I program all my drums. Obviously, I sing all my vocals right into this little guy right here. What's your guys' setup like as far as...
Right here.
Ah! There he
There
is.
it is.
David B?
Yeah. I have a very basic setup. Obviously, I'm running off of a MacBook Pro, Logic Pro X. I have a Focusrite Scarlett 2i4. Pretty standard stuff, just 2 channels. Also, same as you, I program my drums, MIDI, obviously, guitars and bass. And any other type of like MIDI instrument, I'll have a MIDI controller in it, but I'll perform it live, obviously. Guitars are obviously very live, bass as well. And then for my vocals, I have a AKG C214 microphone that I use to record my vocals. So, yeah, I mean, again,
I thought those things
musician.
sound very clean because
Yeah.
an SM58 gets the job done.
Yeah,
It just means you have to do a lot of cleanup after you're done, though.
Yeah, and then I mean the AKG, it's not gonna break your wallet. It's not It's not like $100 or whatever, like a dynamic mic or whatever, but it's not like these $1,000 other microphones you get for like $250, $300. You get a decent microphone, captures the vocals pretty well from what I want to do at least. So, I mean, my setup's pretty home studio basic. So, nothing. I don't feel like it's anything fancy. So.
All right, and Thrawn.
All right, so what I've been using for all the Collider Live stuff is the I don't want to get this wrong. It's the Pod HD.
Okay. Yeah.
I have like a super cheap IKEA desk that I put a pod on top of, and then I put the IKEA big thick black shelf on top of the pod so it fits perfectly. And then I plug in the guitar to the pod, use the pod as the sound card, and then that just goes into Reaper. And then for like a Arroz con Pollo, there's like the little horns going on. I have the
Chicken and
Arroz con
rice.
pollo. Café con leche.
it's
Arroz con pollo.
the Garritan Personal Orchestra. I think it's like $100 on Sweetwater. I
Yeah,
bought that a
yep.
while back to do
Nice.
some work for somebody else. So I used that for the horns, and then for the rap song I did, and the recent. I think I put like a ghetto boom in the Riley Fingernails song. The ska song. In the ska song too, I used horns for that one. I didn't use the Aria ones. I have the the Machine Micro? Yeah, Machine Micro. And so I used the samples from the Machine Micro for the horns on that one. It actually sounded way more ska-like, because the orchestra ones, I mean, they're like orchestra horns. They're not like punky ska sounding kind of horns. So I used that one, the Machine sample for that. And then on the vocal front, I'm going to be honest with you. Like I said, I'm in other bands. So I went to the jam room and just kind of grabbed the first mic that was in a bag. I think it was an SM58.
Okay.
And I ran that into.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
I ran that into a Scarlett. I think I got the 2-channel version of the one that you have.
Okay.
And that was the vocals there. And vocals, I'm not a singer. Like I can sing, but I've never been into vocal production.
Everyone can learn to sing.
That's my real thing, is the whole, like, the music part. I know how to put it down and get it done. And my rules, like I said, I mentioned earlier, I have rules. And one of the rules is if any one part takes more than 10 minutes to figure out, it's not going to happen. I'm going to use something else. So that's how I get things done so fast. And the part that takes the longest is figuring out the software to do it. I've got it and I've used it and I know certain things, but I had to learn how to auto-tune. I'm just now figuring out, you should probably master these things in some sort of way to make them sound better. And then using plugins, like, that's just, that's a new realm I have to figure out. So YouTube's been the best for that. But as far as the gear goes, like I said, it's the Line 6 mostly into an iMac. And then I've got that Scarlett for vocals, which I don't do very often. And then, the machine, you can use the machine as a plug-in. So I do that way. And then, for the horns, I use the Akai MPK Mini.
Oh, okay, nice.
It's a little keyboard, it's very, very few keys, but it's faster.
I would say, but it gets the job done. It's a nice little workhorse. I say for my keyboard, I just have a 61 key M Audio with 8 trigger pads on it, and for if I do need to program anything through MIDI, it's a beast. I love this thing.
Yeah, so much faster than having to draw it out in the actual DAW itself. You just kind of perform it live and then clean it up if you have to. But otherwise, it's so much easier than drawing and clicking and this and that.
Yeah, I'm the same way too for the most part when it comes to like instruments. But for my drums, I have to like really be in there and really like, here's the kick on beat 1 and end of 2, and here's the snare on 3 and the end of. But I'm just meticulous like that. And then because sometimes, I don't know if you guys run into this. I don't know if Thrawn runs into it. Sometimes if you use like a drum program, like Logic comes with drummers, right? And they actually perform based on what you write.
Yeah, but
sometimes
it's
it's
a joke.
Yeah, right. It sounds a little bit like too like it's pretty good for what it is, but sometimes I just want it to feel a little bit more human. So you kind of have to really go in there and slightly mess around with like the timing of the hits and stuff like that.
Well, see, and that's
Because you
why
don't want it to be too.
You know, if I may, because like I actually have experience playing the drums in real life.
Yeah.
So like, is your only experience with percussion off of these programs, or or have you actually had real life experience playing these instruments for real?
Well, I mean, personally, I'm not a drummer. Obviously, I'm more of a guitarist, bassist, pianist kind of guy. But I have played drums before. But like in the list of like equipment that I need, something always comes before I'm like, I can finally buy a legit drum set or at least some pads to mimic something. You know what I mean? So in that sense, I do have a little bit of experience. And obviously, I know like a bunch of drummers. So if I ever write anything, I'll ask them like, can this physically be performed? And they'll usually be very honest, like, no, that's impossible. Why are you writing that? That's stupid. Type of stuff, you know what I mean? So.
I mean, unless you're the octopus from Mako Man, but
Right.
Exactly.
Just make sure you don't have 4 boxes in the same line, and you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly.
or the giant ant from Ant-Man.
Ay.
Yeah, what's up with like animals playing drums in
we
movies?
avoid 4 comic book movies.
We honestly can avoid some of the lesser comic book films of last year. And actually, and that's where obviously David, you and I differ big time, is because and actually I think we have the exact opposite problem, because I'm a drummer first and foremost. I've been playing drums for unofficially the better part of 23 years, and I'm 25, but and then obviously I again play guitar, play bass, I play keys, and I sing. But anytime that I need to write a guitar solo, I'm not skilled enough to like properly nail it. So what I'll do is I'll lay down the rhythm track on my real guitar, but for the leads, I'll do it through a couple different programs and program it. Now, I have a history of being quite notorious in some of the shreddage I will write down, and yeah, like I have and I have to ask some of my friends who are longtime guitar players, like, okay, is this a realistic sounding solo? And then 9 times out of 10 they'll tell me, dude, fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is like the opposite, right? I mean, for me, it's I've been playing guitar now. Shit, I have to count. 15 years. Yeah, 15 years, right? And like again, professional musician. Not to show off, it's just what it is.
Yeah.
I got my undergrad in music, just a general BA in music, and then I went to the University of Houston, go Cougs, and I got a master's degree in jazz conducting with an emphasis on guitar performance. So guitar is my main passion. It's the instrument that I learned on. You know what I mean? Yeah. That being said, in my undergrad studies, I had to learn how to play bass for the jazz band because we didn't have a bassist for a couple of years. So that's where like the bass technique kind of comes out too. And then if anyone's ever studied music, you'll know every musician, doesn't matter what instrument you play, you have to do a piano proficiency test. So that's where the piano skills come into play too, because they force you to play piano. At least in my school studies, they did. So
I was just saying,
why do they force you to play piano? I honestly wonder.
What was that?
Sorry,
he's wondering why are you being forced to play piano?
Oh, I think the thinking behind that it's the universal instrument. Everything's kind of tuned off of piano. You know what I mean? Anytime you relate any instrument, like for example, this is gonna say, or whatever it is, what is trumpet is tuned down one whole step from piano. So B flat trumpet, their C actually is tuned to B flat, and everything's kind of relatively tuned to the piano. So guitar, for example, our lowest E string, that E3 is technically an E2. On piano, guitar itself is tuned a whole octave lower from the piano. So everything is just kind of based off piano. And then, I don't know, man, it's just everyone thinks the world of piano because all the great composers write off of. You know, Beethoven wrote off piano, Mozart and Bach.
Bach, you know.
Who?
And, nice.
Bach.
I actually know these names. I know these names.
You know, there's an old joke I used to do with my professor. You know how South Park used to say Simpsons did it?
Yeah.
Sam said it.
Yeah, there's an old joke my composer used to say. That my old composer teacher used to say like, "Oh, Bach did it," because literally Bach did it. Everybody's like, "Oh, Bach did it." So
I was saying,
So-
and that was the same case for me at my college, McNally Smith College of Music, which RIP as of 2017, you jackasses. But
no, my schools. I didn't mention it, but the undergrad I did was at the University of St. Thomas, and that's still up and running. Obviously, of course, U of H still going strong. March Madness. I hope we make it all the way. So.
But do you guys
We'll
honestly
see.
have a prayer?
I don't know, man. The season was really good. I'm
Oh, honestly.
honestly
Where-
though.
Where's the straight answer of no?
I can't do that, man. I have faith in my team. I can't do that. I gotta keep hope alive.
Good
But,
for you.
honestly, no.
Save Houston. Save the dream.
Exactly. We're gonna paint the town red. I swear. Yeah.
But no, so now as we start to wind down, because obviously, like I think, and I got a bad feeling as soon as I close out the show, we're gonna be still talking for another hour or so, and I'm very happy to hear that. But guys, for the both of you, like, and it's been a hot second since any of us have posted anything, and to be fair, it's because we're busy. We have lives. I'm.
No.
All right, fine, Case. Called me out. Fair enough. But what are some of your guys' ideas for songs in the future that maybe you want to put together and hopefully will actually get noticed by Harloff on the show? Sorry, Christian. Did I say that out loud?
Yes, you did, you fuck.
Future songs. I just take pretty much whatever they say. Like in my, like I said, I'm not really OCD, but I do like when they sing things because it kind of just lends itself to musicality and also the 10-minute rule. Otherwise, it's just kind of like for the Riley thing. It was just taking clips of him screaming about, "I didn't think this was a big deal," and all that kind of
This is
stuff.
not a big fucking deal.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
love that
This was a
so
fucking
much.
big deal.
So
God.
screaming, like you said earlier, screaming is it just lends itself to metal, and like first and foremost, metal's what I listen to. And but the other day, I don't know if Roxy was like baiting me with the whole Christian at the dentist thing or how that went.
I think
But,
she was.
I kind of feel like it, you know what I mean? Like, because I had, mentioned before about like, you sing some clickbait stuff and then maybe I can make a song out of clickbait. And then I think the clickbait thing just kind of took off on its own. So I'm like, well, I don't need to touch that because I'm not in it for, honestly, I'm not really in it for attention or anything like that. It's just fun. And I appreciate that first initial challenge call out because, like I said, I hadn't been musicking in a while. And it just like, oh, I can do these things. And if I don't spend too much time on it, then it's fun, and I kind of miss just kind of recording things and having off the cuff ideas for my own bands. If it doesn't take me a month to write something, I don't think it's good enough, but if I can just throw down some generic riffs or whatever else and just, make them the stars of the show, I don't mind doing that at all. But for some of the
Plus, the best part is, like, that could then inspire you potentially maybe on one of your other tracks for something that's not Collide Alive related.
Yeah, guaranteed. I've got... Back in the day, there's this whole mentality of, like, you start a band, you join a band, you are that band, and that's all you do. But, man, with digital music and how easy it is to record things nowadays, you can put yourself out there in, like, 50 different ways, and it's not that big of a deal. So I've got a bunch of ideas of... okay, well, maybe I don't have to spend so much time thinking about what I'm going to write, and I'm just going to throw out the first thing I'm feeling, And so that's how the whole, like, if you notice, a lot of the songs have different genres in there, like there's the ska song and the Latino song or whatever else you want to call it. But that was more of the challenge for me was like, okay, what can I do real quick and then expand my own horizons? That way I can use all that experience into... making more varied sounding things on my own, things that I'll actually take kind of seriously,
Absolutely. And David.
Yeah. What was the question? I got lost in Thrawn's voice.
I know,
I'm
it's
sorry
fun-
about that.
I was gonna say, well, to be fair, he just has that voice that just says, "Come
It's
with
just,
me. I shall
is so-
comfort you with my soothing tones."
It's just so soothing. Yeah.
But
No. I'm kind of the opposite of Thrawn, and I just have to kind of be inspired by something off the show. Like them talking about clickbait for whatever reason, I just gravitated towards it, and I just wanted to write a song about it, and I just saw the project through. I'm not like Thrawn in that if it takes me 10 minutes, more longer than 10 minutes, I have to quit. I have to figure it out. Like if it's an idea I have in my head, I have to make it come to life in some way, shape, or form, no matter what. And that's why sometimes some songs come more easily to me. Like Clickbait took me like 4 or 5 hours. Can I Come took me like 10 hours straight to figure out, because I had to figure out like the MIDI and like the drums, and like I had to figure out like the rap, because I'm not a rapper. I spit hot fire, but I'm not a rapper. And then I had to figure out like the auto tuning, and like I wanted to have female voices, but how do I produce female voices without having a female singer? So
Chipmunk it.
yeah, I should have, honestly. But yeah, if I have an idea in my head and I feel passionate enough about that idea, I have to see it through, no matter how long it takes me. And then considering like for Collider, they go 5 shows a week, right? So like you have to be quick on that topic, or else you're kind of like forgotten in a sense, right? So it's like I have to finish the song and I gotta make sure they get it by tomorrow. And then I am kind of a stickler for like, and I want it to sound good. I want it to sound like it had thought put behind it. It had some mastering, some EQing a little bit, even though I'm not super proficient in mastering. I dabbled in it a little bit, and just for my own personal sake, I want it to sound good. So I'm very meticulous about like this guitar riff work. No, what about this take? No, what about this take? No. All right, how do I equalize the EQ? What type of setting? Blah blah blah. So it takes me a bit longer. I should probably start implementing some of what Thrawn said, because it's meant to be a joke, and I take it very seriously sometimes. But
well,
it's
So,
just,
if I may,
Go ahead.
you mentioned relevancy. So you've been both of you have been very blessed in that Roxy has continuously made the "Can I Come?" She said that over and over and over again every single show, so therefore it still stays in your mind, and therefore a song would still be popular. Whereas
I hear this phrase, and the only thing I can hear is Archer in my head saying phrasing. I don't know.
Hey, but moving on. That's
Come on.
That's
was good.
why
That was good.
that's why you've been able to produce that song, but there has not been a Makuga Sleep in the Hallway song yet, because that joke is weeks old and no one's really gone back to it.
no, it has to be. I don't know about Thrawn. For me, it has to be something that like does come up a couple of times, and it also kind of. I don't want to say this out loud because I don't want it to come off as like this is what you got to do to produce a song off of me. But you kind of have to bait me a little bit in order for me to be like, oh, you want a fucking song? All right, I'll write you a fucking song.
Clickbait.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit, just a little bit. But at the same time, like Thrawn was saying, there was like I felt like Roxy when she was singing that song for Harloff. I feel like she was baiting Thrawn and she was baiting me to do something. I decided like, nope, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I don't know if Thrawn remembers. We even went on the Facebook chat and someone was like, I can't wait to hear what Thrawn or David D do about it. And I was like, I'll throw it to Thrawn. And Thrawn went and like, I'm not doing anything about it. It was just like, we both decided like, no, that's not how you get a song. Try again.
I should have been doing homework that night. Like, legit. I was like, dude, this is not the best thing I've ever heard, and I don't know if I can do anything with it. But then I got this bug. Like, you listen to whatever you listen to on random, and then there's a local San Diego band I have on a lot of my playlists, Bucko 9, and they're a ska band. And I'm like, I've never touched ska in my life as far as writing music. Fuck it. Why not?
I was gonna say, well, to be fair, I've never written a ska song in my life, but I am a huge Real Big Fish fan. So if I had to, I could rip them off well enough to get away with it. But no, and,
yeah, there you go.
And it's funny you bring up the relevancy thing, because I realized that was my biggest mistake about my song Nothing to Me, because like this was about I wrote the song about 2 days after the whole wrestling incident on Collider Live, and it was already way too late. And I'm so mad at myself because I just like I had this great musical idea that was, yes, very clearly Linkin Park inspired, but it was still had a lot of my own personal flavoring to it, and I liked what I was doing with the lyrics and the vocals, but it was just it was too late. I missed the boat for it to be actually caught on to, and damn it. But,
yeah, the other thing is it was a full length song. You know what I mean? And that's part of the deal is that in my head I'm like, okay, these are radio bits, and I've got some friends who've done some radio work, and people say, hey, you got any music beds you can play in the back of whatever we're talking about, and they're always usually pretty short things. So that's always kind of been in my head. I'm like, well, these people are doing this live podcast / YouTube video, so they don't want to be sitting there for 2 or 3 minutes staring at the screen, so nothing's going on for the YouTube crowd, because on their screen you can't really see what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, they should do some sort of embedded screen instead. I think it would be better. But so in my head I'm like, all right, how can we keep this short and still get kind of the point across?
Yeah.
And as I say, and that's a skill that I'm a little jealous of the two of you for having, because you know how to keep a great track to like less than 2 minutes, and that's not a skill that I have. Like, I need at least 3 to get a point across, which that's on me.
You suck.
Yes, I do, Case. Yes, I do.
I think also, like, to kind of be a little bit like opposing Thrawn a little bit, I also think it depends on the content of the song. Like for example, Can I Come is my longest song that's been played on the show, and that song was like 3 minutes, Whereas like for Thrawn, for example, he wrote, I don't know if you guys heard his He-Man song, which I thought was fucking hilarious. This is great. But that song's like 3 minutes long, and I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember them ever mentioning it on the show.
Oh, no, not
Which
at
is
all.
such horse crap, because
Wait, which song? Which song?
Warriors of
He-Man
Grayskull.
song. Yeah.
Ah.
I'll
Great
be
song.
honest with you guys. I tagged on the clips from the He-Man discussion for fun. I think I was telling Chris earlier that I did 4 He-Man songs using a buddy's gear, but they weren't recent. You know what I mean? I just figured, okay, there's a lot of people listening to this Collider conversation, and I thought I have no purpose for these He-Man songs other than a couple of like local San Diego jokes. But I'll go ahead and throw it up here because this is silly stuff. The Thrawn2k5 channel is all about just silly, funny, sure, why not kind of stuff. Things I would never put my actual name on. So
that's where I fucked up. Damn it.
Yeah, that's the whole situation. Is like I'm a different person aside from the whole Thrawn2k5 thing. It's not a I don't. If I don't have 100%, I can be anal about my music too, and that's why you don't know what my real music sounds like because these are jokes. This is funny stuff I've done, following that whole 10-minute rule, like that Warriors of Grayskull song. I didn't spend more than 10 minutes on the music, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of that stuff is cut and paste. Oh, here's a verse, here's a chorus, let's just cut and paste it and put it where it belongs, and then I'll just kind of bullshit over it. And that's exactly what happened with that. I think I'll put most of the rest of them up there just for fun, but that was never when I expected them to play. If any of them listen to it and have a good time, sure, but that's the point. Just listen to it and have a good time.
Yeah, ultimately, at the end of the day, too, for me, it's a little bit different. I kind of want to be known for all of it, if that makes sense. I just want to be known as a musician, regardless. I want to be known as like a serious musician or a funny musician, but I mean, yeah, I got into music because I kind of want to be known as like that's his craft, that's his profession, that's what he does for a living. So for me, it's like, it's me not wanting to be pigeonholed into one thing, like, oh, he only does jazz, or he only does country, or he only does punk pop. It's like, no, I do music. That's what I do, and that's what I want to be known for. So for me,
even if it is Baroque, and mark my words, one day a Baroque song's gonna come out, and it's probably not going to get played, but it's going to come out harpsichord and everything, SATB writing. So
I'm going to put it out like tomorrow. Watch.
Yeah, he is. He probably is. Speak to another question earlier. I do have a song in the works, and there's a line in there that I don't mind sharing on here, but it references Thrawn, and the line goes like, "I only write one song while Thrawn writes 10 for every one that I make." So I mean, But it's like a little shout out to Thrawn, just letting the audience know out there when that song comes out to look out for that. But but yeah, like for me, it's just I just want to be known as like a musician, you know. And then also too, I went into it thinking of like, yeah, it's supposed to be like made for comedy and stuff like that. But I also in the back of my head I was like, but I also want to show Christian, and more specifically whoever like kind of controls Christian on Collider. I want to show him like, hey, you know, but this is what I do for a living. I am actually a legit musician, so I don't know if you need something else for anything else, some kind of composition or anything. You never know. You just never know.
Maybe maybe a re-recording of the Schmodown theme, or maybe a new theme for the promos, because those have been kicking so much ass lately.
Oh, the guy who's been editing the Schmodown, you are the best. Seriously, you are.
Yeah, super quick. Shout out to Nerd Chronic. Like, oh my God, you are just the best. So, guys, as we start to wind down, I'm gonna close this out with one last big, very big, important question to the both of you.
I actually have one too, but you can go first.
Oh no, please, Nico, please.
So 2 questions. One, just like, who's your favorite artist right now besides yourselves?
Don't suck your dick too much, but.
Well, I gotta choose Thrawn. No, just kidding. All right. Shit, that's a little.
Like this Thrawn guy kind of sucks, but.
Crap. That's a good question.
That's really tough.
Yeah, it depends on the mood I'm in. I'll let Thrawn answer first. Go for it, bud.
Bitch. All right.
Yes.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, all right, I'm glad he's talking because I got to think about this. I'm in the. I believe it was Chris earlier saying that he's not up on the whole like what's going on right now kind of thing. As far as like new artists or new music or whatever else, and I'm in the same kind of boat. So I fall back on my favorite. I have a crew of bands that have been able to kind of get me through whatever I'm feeling. And so the first one that comes to mind is The Haunted from Sweden. They've got two like 2 pages of their career. They've got a brutal singer and they got a singer that can actually sing. And so when it's like brutal time, let's go with the brutal one. And when it's I need to feel some things, it's the other guy. So it's either The Haunted. In Flames has been doing a lot for me lately. I like Gojira a lot. They I think since 2005 they've been in, you know, every other week I've listened to one of their albums. And then when I'm just like, all right, dude, it's time to destroy things, Meshuggah, just that Destroy Erase Improve just comes out swinging. So that's what I've been doing a lot for my I don't know, if I have 4 moods, you know. 4 bands. There you go.
Awesome, man.
You can never go wrong with Meshuggah.
All right, so I kind of go all over the place. It just depends on the mood I'm in. Depends what I have to listen to for upcoming gigs. So lately, I've been listening a lot to Maren Morris's new album, Girl, and I really like that album. It's a really good combination of pop and country that I really enjoy. And everyone's like, pop and country? Aren't you the guy who wrote Clickbait? But But then also
pop punk. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. It's half of the equation, right? But then, like I was mentioning to you guys earlier before the show, I've been anticipating this new Periphery album so hard, dude. The mixing of it, the production on it, and then the musicality. Just the 2 songs they released, Blood Eagle and Garden in the Bones. I'm just like, these guys are at the top of their game right now in metal, in my personal opinion. So I'm super stoked for that album. I think it comes out in like 2 weeks, April 5th. I think it comes out. And then
I'm excited for it.
That album's dude. The weird thing about it is I heard Garden in the Bones, and at first I was a little turned off by it coming off of Blood Eagle, because Blood Eagle is just so fucking brutal, right? But then like you listen to it enough times, and then Garden of the Bones quickly became my favorite song because
I like it better, yeah.
I was saying,
yeah.
Plus, to be fair, I'm kind of that weirdo who, yes, sure, I was introduced to Periphery through their heavier side, but I really admire when they take it down, because they know how. Because Spencer knows how to give the right amount of clean.
Yes, and then that song too. That song's still heavy. It's still down-tuned guitars, right? But the voicings the guitar use, right? The the only way I can explain it is like the guitars are mimicking an orchestra. Just the way they voice the chords and the way they play it, and then the fucking drumming behind it, dude. I'm just like
That's
that
Matt
song
Halpern for you.
That song quickly became like, all right, I really love Blood Legal for what it is, because occasionally you're like, yeah, you guys just gotta wreck shit. But then like Garden of the Bones, dude, that song is just, it's a beautiful, epic, brutal song, and it's so weird using those adjectives in the same sentence, but that's what that song is. So I'm super stoked for that album. I've been going through Mark Morton's album, and there's a couple of songs in there I'm like, that's really great. And there's another song where I'm like, I don't know what he's doing with that.
I haven't picked it up yet, but just because I hate to sound like a pussy. I'm still not over Chester, and I know that his last.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
That song's so good, man. We need to get on it.
Okay.
I'm glad if that is the last thing he ever recorded. I'm glad that's the last thing he ever recorded. It's so good. It is peak Chester doing what Chester did
By
so
the way,
well.
Chris, sometimes you are the nostalgia critic.
Sometimes I am. Yes, I won't deny it. But one last thing before we close out. So guys, when are we just gonna get together and like do something live?
It was really nice talk. It was really nice talking to you guys. Thanks for the invite. And,
all right. But no,
well, fuck you too.
Okay, wait. One more question, and I want to hear everyone, not just David B and Thrawn, because I genuinely want. Listen.
No, wait. Before you ask it, let Thrawn answer the question too. I did a jokey answer, but I'll let Thrawn answer the question because I'm curious to hear what he has to say.
Bro, we live in 3 different states. Like, I don't know how that's gonna work.
Yeah.
Hey, I live in a different.
All I'm saying is if let's say there was like another Chris Clark music night thing, and let's say all that Collider could do was just pay for, let's say, gas and hotel. You can't tell me that wouldn't be worth it.
I mean, yeah, dude. I'm not against having fun at all ever. So let's have fun.
By the way,
like,
who
we're
is
playing with Monopoly money.
This free for all right now?
What's up? Oh, I was supposed to be, but I kind of didn't do enough of the homework I was supposed to do. So I'm gonna have to wind up doing some of that after this, and then a little bit in the morning. I know, it's my fault. At the same time, if I was driving right now, I would be probably like gone by now. So hey, it's all good. It works out.
That's true. But yeah, no, and to be fair, I know that it would take a damn miracle for Davin, but it's just but then at the very least, because I do believe that there should be some kind of collaboration in the future. So I would like to make this official statement that if you guys are working on something and maybe you want to have it maybe just a little bit of a tune-up on it, feel free to send the tracks my way. I'll give you a free mix.
Thrawn and David B, produced by Chris over here.
There we go.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
All right. Awesome.
It takes like 75% of the work out of my hands. That's great.
Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning into this week's episode of the Who Cares Anyway podcast. I certainly had a fucking great time, and I hope you guys all did it too at home. And I'm pretty sure I can safely say that everyone here on the panel had a great time as well. So
that was great.
So once again, David B, Thrawn, thank you so much for giving me your time tonight. And Thrawn, where can the good folks find you online?
Oh man, Thrawn2k5 is where it's at. Use the number 2, the letter K, the number 5. That's Twitter and YouTube. And then the word, if you want to find me on that Collider Live group on Facebook, it's my first name is Thrawn and my last name
is
fuck is that 2k5. Thing? Oh, it's great. It's a good time. But since Facebook doesn't let you do numbers in your last name, I had to spell it out.
It looks like Twok5.
It does come out like Twok5, and it's pretty amazing. David B, where can the good folks find you online?
Yeah, just type in David B on Twitter. I should pop up. At SolidRuler21 if you want to be specific.
What if you don't pop up?
Well, then don't follow me. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
You know what? Don't follow me. I want to send it out. No one follow me on Twitter. I don't want followers. Don't at me. I'm just kidding. No.
I love
No.
you, David.
No. At Solid Ruler 21. I love you too, bro. On Instagram, David B Music 1, and then YouTube. If you look for David B, it should pop up. I would give you the YouTube link, but because I'm not super popular or verified, it's a really long, laborious link. So, fuck that. Just type my name. And then a song that you like of mine, if you like any of my songs, and I should pop up, I think.
As we say, we actually do have a link for you in the description box. So luckily,
Dope.
got you taken care of.
How
How about that? Nico, where can the good folks find you online?
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Nico Suaveregoli. That's NicoSuaveRegolli. You can find me right here on Dedicated to Art and all the places Chris and Kees are about to say in just a moment. You can find me over on Combat Wrestling Network is the name of the YouTube channel. Combat Wrestling Trivia is the name of the Facebook group. And the poorly made Twitter account is at Combat Wrestling, the number 2. There is no letter G in that Twitter handle because Twitter is weird. But if you like wrestling and if you like wrestling trivia, come find us. We'll get you a match in either the heavyweight or middleweight divisions. And Multiplex Entertainment is the name of the Facebook group and the YouTube channel. The Twitter is at MultiplexYT. The Instagram is Multiplex Entertainment Network. The TeePublic is just Multiplex. Buy our awesome shirts. Zaddy Smith and I host a weekly Inner Geekdom and Arrowverse discussion show called Crisis on Earthplex every Wednesday evening between 9 and 11 p.m. Eastern Time, depending on what our schedules are like that night. And I might have one more thing in the works in the coming months, but for now, that's all I can say.
Interesting.
Very mysterious.
Very mysterious. Kees, where can the good folks find you online?
You guys can find me, my room being sarcastic, I guess. Also, still being on Google SketchUp because I'm still building these designs, and honestly, they're getting pretty good. I will probably post them out on Twitter, where you can follow me at Dutch Movie Guy. Where honestly, if you want to see some of my designs, which both Chris and I am like, wow, these look really good. Seriously, check them out because honestly, they look good. You can follow me on Facebook, Cornelisse. Next week is going to be free for all, first of all. So look out for our free for all reaction. It's going to be a fucking 4.5 hour reaction.
Ooh, boy.
I'll be there.
It's going to be hell, but it's going to be awesome. So just check it out because honestly, I don't know why else I would spend 5 hours being on Skype on a fucking Sunday night for. But yeah, that's what I'm doing next week. And otherwise, Irina is coming here soon. So my girlfriend is gonna join our reactions again. So I actually have a girlfriend. That's something completely for all you guys, I know. But yeah, she's gonna be here. She's gonna be as Miss
Oh, Jesus Christ. Why was it louder that time?
It was great.
I put it right next to the microphone.
Oh, no.
So yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool. When she gets here, look out for that. And other than that, yeah, that's about it. Follow me on Multiplex competing in matches whenever they drop, whenever they get recorded, for that matter.
Absolutely. And of course, as always, you guys can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Stardust, and Letterboxd at Skywalker Dohmen. You guys can follow this very channel on Twitter and Instagram at D2H Channel. Please like our Facebook page. And yeah, stay tuned. If you're a Schmodown fan, go check out our reaction to Mark Andrego versus John Rocca, which dropped right before we went live. And yeah, free for all. Free for all, baby.
Horseman!
Horseman! Yes, that's awesome. That is fucking awesome. Poor Kees. But until next time.
I like the horse.
This is true. You do, actually. Now, I can't 100% confirm that this gentleman will actually be on the show, but because I decided I was going to throw Nico a bone and potentially talk about wrestling next week. Potentially. Potentially.
I have gotten in touch with Aaron Turner, and he did say maybe.
Yeah, as I say, but until it's official, that is the potential guest. But until that is actually confirmed, you guys know what to do. Take care.
Yeah.